welcome to the channel. My name's Linda. Skipping the ring light today, so I might be a little bit in shadow, but just ignore that. So today we're going to talk about good reads for autumn. So these all have autumnal covers and sound like they've got those cozy fall vibes. So most of them are romances. There's a couple of fantasy in there as well. So let's get into it. The first one is Her Hope Discovered. And I'm just going to read, or just going to tell you briefly about each one. I'm not going to go into the whole synopsis. But this one's about Clara, and she moves to the small town of Ruby and discovers a town carpenter named Sam, who's been looking for a wife and a mother for his daughters. But Ruby isn't quite what he imagined. And it says it's nestled in the Ozark Hills and Hollows, and it's Ruby, Missouri. It's a quaint, cozy town where neighbor is merely another word for friend. Sounds very sweet. And the next one is Tears of Amber, and it's got the fall leaves and kind of some sparkling guest stars. And it says, when with war looming dangerously close, Ilse's school days soon turn to lessons of survival. In the harshness of winter, her family must join the largest exodus in human history to survive. So this is the war between East Prussia's borders, and so they have to leave their farm and go and get out of there before the war reaches them. And she also is going with Janusz, who's the family's young Polish laborer who works for them. And they flee from the Soviet army. And it says, his enchanting folk tales keep her mind off the cold, the hunger, and the horrors unfolding around them. He tells her of a besieged kingdom in the Baltic Sea, which spill the amber tears of a heartbroken queen. So that's kind of a historical one. So I'm not sure how cozy that will be, but it does look very autumnal. So the next one's called Falling for You, and it is Love in Autumn. It's that series, and it's book one in that series. And it says Meredith she has anxiety. She has a service dog to help her with the anxiety. And then after her mother dies, she moves to this small town in Tennessee. And while she's there, she meets the local sheriff, Chase, who apparently falls head over heels for her. So it's a novella, so it's a pretty short read, and hopefully it's a good one. I know sometimes I struggle with novellas because I feel like they left something on the table, like I want more if it's really good. But hopefully this is a good one. The next one is called Seeking Her Heart's Truth, and love the picture. It's the cover has, the woman in the long burgundy kind of gown, and then this train is coming, and you can see the fall leaves in the background. So it says Beth is waiting for her 25th birthday when she uncovers a devastating secret and decides to leave everything behind and set out on her own. And then Virgil is a local tycoon who's part of a scandal in his town and now has no choice but to get a mail order bride. So Beth answers his ad, but shadows from his past get in the way of their happily ever after. So that one sounds interesting. So the next one, love the cover on this one too. It's very sweet, and they look very happy together. So this one is called Sweet Autumn Kisses, and it's an Elf Hollow romance. And it says he was a forever kind of guy, walking into the sunset hand in hand with a lifetime of memories. She couldn't see past her 5-year plan. So it says after a disastrous marriage, Zach still wants it all: a house, a porch swing, a wife, some children. But Shasta Daisy Lee may have a carefree name, but that's where it ends. She wants everything orderly and predictable, and romance can be messy. So that sounds like they got a few things to work out. And the next one, again, like the covers of these autumn books are just so fabulous. I love like all the reds and yellows and oranges, and they just look so great. So this one is called Picture Perfect Autumn. And it says Danny's an up-and-coming artist, but she sees some old photographs that she found, and she realizes something's missing in her photography. So she looks up this 80-year-old man named Lawrence, who was a really great photographer, and they don't really say, but maybe he's the photographer of the pictures that she found. So he really doesn't want anything to do with her. He figures that his son inadvertently died because of his photography somehow, and he wants nothing to do with any of it. But she's pushing for it. And his grandson Peter is around and figures that she's a gold digger and after his grandfather's money. So he's trying to get rid of her. And it says they're brought together by fortune, fate, and the ties that bind. All three embark on journeys of discovery and love. So that one sounds good. And the next one, again, beautiful cover. It says it's called Given Our History. And it says Clara wanted to teach. We have a lot of Claras. I think that's two books now with the name Clara. It's my mom's name, so yeah, it just kind of struck me. Okay, so Clara wanted to teach history since she was 14, and she has made it happen. When Theodore Harrison is brought on for the fall semester as a visiting scholar, it's an unwelcome blast from Clara's past. She hasn't spoken to Teddy since a falling out 10 years ago. Now that he's here, she's reminded of their shared history at every autumn spent at a sleepaway camp in the Blue Ridge Mountains, where she traded battered books and burned CDs with a quiet, dark-haired boy and fell in love with him. But the man he's become is a total stranger to her. So I love these second chance romance ones. So the next one is called Seeking Home. And you can see there's two different covers for it. One looks very autumn. One kind of reminds me more of summer. Anyway, we're going to pick the autumn one. So it says, she's a single mother looking for redemption. He's a widower who wants to sell the ranch that stole his family from him in a tragic accident. Can Sabine and Tanner move on from their troubled past and build a love based on trust? So that sounds like it could be interesting, and I'm curious to see where it goes. And then we have a couple of ones that are more fantasy based. So the first one is called The Autumn Fairy, and I believe it's number 3 in a series. I don't see offhand what the series is called, but it's a YA. And it says that Katrin knows a little about her origins, but whatever she is, it's certainly not human. On an island where humans have banned magic and hunt all who possess it, the dark power within her has become too strong to hide. With each passing day, the threat grows. It says the Autumn Fairy is the first book in the Autumn Fairy trilogy. Okay, there we go. And it's the first book. All right, I was thinking it was the third. Maybe that was something else. Where fairies, humans, and legends collide. And so it says the Autumn Fairy is a book about Peter and Katie as they go through their journey, as they search for truth among ancient lies, hope in the darkness, and their own happy ending. So that sounds like it should be interesting, and it's interesting that it's an Autumn Fairy trilogy, so you can get the autumn vibes for 3 books. So the next one is called A Dark and Secret Magic. And it says, Ekata Goodwin, Kate to her friends, has curated the perfect life as a hedge witch, living in a secluded cottage with only a black cat for company. She spends her days foraging herbs from the forest, gardening, and creating tinctures to sell at the apothecary she owns. Most evenings pass without her speaking to another human being, an arrangement she quite prefers. But then her sister Miranda asked her to host their coven's annual Halloween gathering. To complicate things further, a handsome man from Kate's past turns up at her cottage asking for sanctuary. He's a practitioner of forbidden magic and has tricked her once before. Can she trust him? Says it's a celebration of the Halloween season and a love letter to anyone who drinks pumpkin spice in August and carries the spirit of a witch inside their heart all year long. So that one sounds really intriguing, and I'd really like to read that one. I think that's my favorite so far. So the next one might take over that place. It's called Deja Brew, and it says ex-celebrity chef Serena Caraway has had the wackiest October ever. Her cooking powers are on the fritz. She failed to land a career-saving job, and she embarrassed herself at the town's Halloween party. Just before midnight, she makes a desperate wish for a second chance to fix her life. The next morning, Serena wakes up and realizes that she's repeating the entire pumpkin spice flavored month. Even sweeter, she runs into Gus Dearborn, whose magic leaves her spellbound. So that one sounds really cute. It sounds like a Groundhog Day kind of thing, only it's going to be October all over again. So if there's any month I wouldn't mind repeating, it's probably October. Okay. And the last one's called Unbearably Yours. It says, Charlie lives, or Charlie, that's Charlee, so it's the feminine version of Charlie. lives her life by one single rule: don't dredge up the past. That's why she loses herself in her work as a journalist, always on the move, always heading for the next adventure. So when the Wild Planet offices in Toronto are on the brink of closure, she jumps at the chance to save the place by helping shoot a documentary in British Columbia's Great Bear Rainforest, until she realizes who she'll be working with. And then it says, for Oliver Reynolds, there's nothing like the peace and quiet of nature. That's why working for Wild Planet is a perfect fit. In the small tourist town of Pine Falls, he has everything he needs. Well, almost. If only he could buy back the family's restaurant he lost 5 years ago. When his boss offers him a hefty raise to guide a Wild Planet crew filming a documentary in the area, Oliver doesn't think twice. At least until he finds out who he'll be spending those 2 weeks with. So it says it's a steamy small town romance that delves into the realms of second chances, forced proximity, the solace of a chosen family, and the unshakable bonds that can be forged in a lifetime. So that one sounds really good, and I'm interested to know the history between those two, why they don't want to spend 2 weeks with each other. So those sound like some great autumn reads, and hopefully you can get to some of them, or you found something in there that you think you'd enjoy. So leave a nice autumn emoji below, and let me know you're looking forward to autumn. All right. Have a great day, friends. Bye-bye.